HTTV, in association with Illingworth and Gregory, with Huddersfield Town's new under-23 coach, Mark Hudson. Mark, congratulations on the role, first of all. David Wagner talked a lot about what was next for you, quite publicly. He was asked about it, and he said he wanted to give you a flavour of every element of kind of the non-playing side of football. So, first team coaching, youth team coaching, scouting, recruitment, everything you could think of. So, yes. What made this role the one that you decided you wanted to take forward?
I mean, firstly, going back to obviously him giving me the opportunity to learn from every different department and work within that and see how it works. Has probably accelerated me getting to this point, I'd say, because if it was just learning from him and not seeing how things work internally and how the media department work, how the scouting department works, I don't think you could be ready to take such a job as this. So it came up. I think they wanted to make a change. He thought I would be ready for it. He said that it would be a great fit for me and to go and take it and get myself in front of my own group, which is where we are now.
Did any of that surprise you, all the experience you've had? 'Cause you've been in football a long time as a player, Mark, but I suppose you focused on the day job there. You don't necessarily see the ins and outs of scouting and all that stuff. Did any of it kind of catch you off guard, the depth of it really now?
A lot of it actually. I'd be surprised if any player comes out of playing and thinks they know what happens behind the scenes, because it doesn't happen. You don't see the work that goes on. You don't see the scouting department, how they work. You don't go and watch games. You don't see how Christoph and the analysts work, how hard they work behind the scenes, and how much goes into preparing for the lads. Basically, they've got the right idea to go and play in a game. So to be able to get that in the background and have the chance to have my input within that was great, and it gets you ready for maybe what to come. I know I've got a lot to learn and a long way to go. It's the start of a new chapter for me. So I always said as a player that I'd learn till I've finished, and I'll continue to do that as a coach.
I thought when we announced it start of January that the response that I saw you get from, not just from Huddersfield Town fans, but from fans of all your previous clubs was really nice. That must have been a nice response for you as well to receive on social media and I'm sure in person. Yeah,
of course it is. Yeah, it's always nice to get positive things said about you. I know I've got, going back, I know I've got a lot to learn, and a lot of people said throughout my career that you'll be a great coach, you'll be this, you'll be that, and until I step in and make those sort of strides forward and mistakes and learn and try and better myself, I'm never going to know. So this opportunity to come up and do that with Huddersfield's under-23s and to be part of the club internally, and I'm starting to really get to know everyone now, and I don't sometimes think as a player you do. I think you sort of drift in and you do your job and you go away. But now I've been doing this for a while, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it.
You talked about the club wanting to make a change at under-23 level. I think it's fair to say there's been some pretty big changes, well publicised, in the academy as a whole. It must appeal to you that you've got a real opportunity here to really carve a niche and send the under-23s group with Lee Bromby and the other staff the way you want to do it, because we've been in the EPPP and it's fantastic in some ways, quite prescriptive in others, but you've got a real opportunity, a unique one perhaps, to do things your way, I suppose.
Yeah, of course, it's something totally different. And me and Lee had a chat with the boss the other day about what we can do going forward and where we can change things and what we're looking for and what they're looking for from us. So he sort of basically said it's a blank canvas. The way it was before is going to be totally different to the way it is now. So going forward and building that is down to us, and with the relationship obviously myself and Lee have got with the boss, then we can work hand in hand with doing that, and we can build something that hopefully can be a great thing for the academy, and make difference and hopefully get the players through that we want to get through.
You've talked about your relationship with the boss, with David Wagner. Obviously you've lived his methods as a player for quite some time. As soon as he came in, you were here. Yeah. Is it a simple a case of doing what he does at first team level with your group, or is there more to it than that?
I'd say there's more to it. They're still learning as kids growing up. It could be any different age. It could be a 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old that needs to learn the game, and not just learn the game that we play. So there's obviously the normal, let's say, coaching that goes into it, the technical side, obviously the tactical side. You can't just give them how the first team play, because there's a lot more basic stuff that needs to be taught and to work on. But you need to give them the overview of how the first team do play to marry up with them and play the same way, same system. So when we do have players that come through that are ready, they've got that in place to be able to step straight into a training session and even a game maybe in the future that they can play in without having to worry about what I'm doing and just go and enjoy playing in a role that they know well. That's
an obvious positive of your appointment, that you know the tactical way that David plays and how to prepare players for that. But you make an important point that as an 18, 19-year-old, you're still learning the skills, aren't you, as a footballer? Yeah. So that, I suppose you might do some of that at first team level, but as opposed to trying to teach you how to do technique things at 32, 33, it's a different kettle of fish, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, they're still learning. They're sponges, basically, the kids at that age. They absorb so much, and they've got to take on a lot on board, and they'll have more to take on now I've taken over. There's different things that I'd like to work on, and the technical and tactical side of it is a big part of what you need to have to be able to step into a first team environment. So we're trying to implement that into their sort of day-to-day or week-to-week routine. It'll be good for them. They've enjoyed it so far. I'd like to say that. I mean, they'll probably tell you different, but obviously they come off the pitch, they look like they've learned a lot, and they're picking up different ideas, and that's what I'm trying to help and implement in the under-23s.
Very early on, we've had a little success story at the weekend. So we had Lewis O'Brien, who's been a key member of the 23s for a little while now, on the bench for the first team at Bolton Wanderers last weekend. How do you prepare? You've made that step, you know, when you were a young player at Fulham. I know you'll have eventually had that step to make. How do you prepare someone for that? Because the way the first team's performed and accelerated through the divisions to be a Premier League team has really upped the ante for how good these lads have to be.
Well, going on your last point there, the jump has to be not so big a jump. They have to be really close. Like I said about the idea of how the first team play and how they train, the intensity of it. They need to have that ready. They need to be ready to be able to make that jump not so big, so they can step on the pitch, feel confident in what they're doing. Lewis has done that. He's been training with the first team for maybe months now, at a good level as well, and making an impact on training. It's not just about going across and training just for the sake of training and making up numbers. They go across now to make an impact, and he's done that recently, and he deserves that. But for our point of view, to get the players ready in that respect, is that it's the day in day out of things, the standards, the identity of how the first team do it has to be the same in the 23s and the 18s, so they can step in and feel free to go and play.
You've talked a lot about the coaching and the day-to-day work on the pitch, but obviously in your job there's more to it than that now. So we're in a situation where we're going to have to create a bespoke games programme, for instance. There's going to be some recruitment as well, which we talked to Lee Bromby about, the academy manager, a couple of days ago. More to it than simply the day-to-day work you've just been doing on the pitch, isn't it? How involved are you going to be in that, and who do you work with on that?
All of it. I think we work quite well together, me and Lee. Obviously you've got all the backroom staff as well. It's a blank canvas, so we'll prepare things. We've got obviously the relationship with the manager and what he wants to go forward and what he'll be looking for in games, whether this be in this country, abroad, trips, bringing teams from abroad to us to play, and suits different styles of play, and not just playing in a league system that maybe doesn't produce anyone so far. So we're looking at something that's completely different and completely set to the way we want to do it. So it's going to be exciting trying to create that.
I'm sure that'll surprise a few people that you'd consider taking this group maybe abroad or bringing someone to us, but the club's been very clear that what we've done with the academy isn't a cost-saving exercise. This is going to take some serious investment to get this right, but it's so important that we do get this right and give them every chance to be successful and ultimately play for David, isn't it?
That's exactly right, and that's what the chairman said. He's obviously gone down this route, and he's backing the new route with financial backing, and how we create it, he's going to back. Obviously, like I said again, relation to the manager and what he's looking for, it should link well and going forward and creating some great games for us to play here and away.
Talking about games, it's 2 games, 2 wins so far, isn't it, Mark? You ducked to water on this coaching line.
Yeah, I'm not looking too much into that. Obviously, it's nice to get those sort of results, but there's plenty of games to come up, and it's not just the results we're looking for, it's about developing them and hopefully getting more of them into the first team.
I'm sure we'll keep up to date with developments as they come on, Mark, but from everyone here, just good luck with the role, and we look forward to speaking to you in the future.
Thank you very much, cheers.